Now, before we get into the video, if you guys would like to join a group of like-minded individuals, people who are serious about making money in the short term and in the long term, then join my private group. Now, the results do speak for itself. In the last 2 years, I've approximately made about 1000x on all my calls, and these will continue to print in the coming bull run. Now, I also have a free Telegram group. All the links are in the description. Now, today, we'll be looking at some of these gaming projects and ranking them, from a 10x all the way to 100x, and the ones that are not worth the investment. Now, gaming is currently the most undervalued sector in the crypto space, as a majority of them are down around 80% from the all-time highs. And some of these are decent entry points, for a DCA. But the first one on the list is AWT. Now, this is a coin that my private group did trade and make a 4x on. However, as a long-term investment, I don't think it's worth, because if you look at the token holders, the top wallets, none of them are investing schedules. The team is constantly dumping, just the other day, they dumped around 100 million tokens. And this is because, with a AAA style game like AWT is, they need a lot of funding, and I don't think they have the funding. So what they do is they dump their own tokens. Now, Mexi, Gate, BitGate, they're also dumping these tokens continuously, as none of their wallets are in any vesting, so they get access to all of it, and they're just constantly dumping this. There's a lot of bots trading this as well. This is why the volume is so high. But as an investment, I don't think this is worth the investment. It could be one that you could trade, during the gaming run, for a possible couple of like 5 to 10x. But, as an investment to hold now all the way to the bull run, I don't think this is worth the investment. Axie Infinity, same thing, old project. It's not worth the investment. Beam, it is on the better side. I think it can do a 10x. The market cap is very high, but as a project, Beam is very good. Now, Metahost Unity is built on Beam. Is a not a AAA style game, but their games are quite good. They got 3 separate games. They're esports, cross-platform, so they're going to be on Apple and Google Store. And they do regular tournaments every month. If you can have the chance to earn 10k, 15k every month, while playing on your mobile phone, I think people will play the game. And they have 3 separate games, so they're not just bored of one game. And the team behind it is, a capable team. Is the team from Sandbox. They have a big studio behind them, Hungry Games. And I think as a project, his micro cap is around 400k market cap. As a project, I think you can probably do around a 50x from this point on. It is the best project in the sector, in the horse racing sector. It is way better than D-Race. For that reason, I think it will perform. Big time, decent project. As an investment, I don't think it's worth. It might put maybe like a 10x. The game's not too bad. But would I invest into it? I wouldn't invest into it. Alaska Gold Rush, same thing. It's a decent project. But as an investment, I don't think it's worth the investment. But it will potentially do around a 10 to 15x. The game's pretty good. They released a little trailer. It's like Red Redemption. The quality is quite good, But when the game actually comes out, I think it will perform. It probably do like a 10x. It is micro cap. Now, OTK, it is one of the best gaming projects. It is the best gaming project on Solana. And in terms of the earning aspect, because with these gaming projects, the most important thing is the earning aspect. Can you earn money? And OTK, they have a dual earning model. You can earn the OTK token as well as real world assets. And for that reason, not most other gaming projects do not do that. So this is why I think OTK can perform extremely well. And it has come down significantly. It is a good DCA right now. I would put it anywhere between a 50 to 100x from this point on. But I think 50x is more likely for this project. Now, I did make 100x on OTK. So if it does another 10 to 15x, that would be like 1000x for me. And this is why you should join my private community, because I get into these coins extremely early. And you will see that, once you join. Caffeon Games is not worth the investment. It's a very weird gaming project. The games are not too bad. They're like little simple games. But as an investment, it's not really worth it. It got manipulated by a few groups. But I don't think it's worth the investment. Chronos is not bad. It's a decent project. I can see you doing about a 10x. D-Race, old project. Now, it will probably get showed by Alex Becker at some point. But I think as a horse racing game, I think Munity is a much better investment. Fabwell, same thing. Old project, not really worth the investment. Didn't really move when gaming moved. Did like a 2-3x, which is really fuck all realistically. Gala Games, the CEOs are in a court case against each other. So as an investment, I don't think it's worth. Far Cry, decent project. Game looks pretty good. but the vesting schedule is really harsh. So for that reason, it's not really worth the investment. A lot of these new gaming projects that are coming out, they're only catered to early investors. So you have to be very careful investing into any of them, because they come out, they pump a little bit, and all the early investors are up like 20, 10, all the way 10 to 15x, some of them are up 20x. So I don't think it's worth the investment. You have to wait for them to come down close to seed prices, and then you invest into them. Now, G Swift, I would say, is a very good project. It's not a bad project. However, the fully diluted will throw a lot of people off, as they don't understand the tokenomics. So for that reason, from this point on, it will potentially do like a 10 to 15x. I'll put it in this sector. It is a good project. Corpo, same thing. The early investors are still up around 5 to 10x. So, I would potentially buy this around 10 cents. I'll start DCing this around 10 to 12 cents. And it will come down. There is regular unlocks happening, and the early investors are up. When they're up this much and the market condition is so dead, they will continue to sell, as they are continuously making money from, the early investment, the seed prices, the private prices. But as a project, I think you can probably potentially do around, if you can get it at a decent price around under 10 cents, I think you can pull a 30x on it. But right now, from this point on, I don't think right now is not worth the investment. GFAL, same thing. I really hope GFAL has been working, and I think they will potentially do the market in the bull run. They haven't really done anything significant, the last 2 years since they come out. But, the team behind it is really solid. The dilution is becoming minimum now. But I do think it can potentially do about 10 to 15x. I don't think you can do any more than that. There's too many gaming projects now. Gaming is too saturated. It's going to be really hard to do 100x in gaming. I would rather bet on AI. Hello is not worth it. It's not really a gaming project. Illuvium, old project. I don't think it's worth the investment. There's no point putting your money in too many gaming projects. Just pick the best ones. Immutable X, very good project. Too high a market cap. Would potentially do about 5 to 10x. I think about 5 to 7x is more realistic. That is not gaming. I think that's Karate Combat. I don't know why that's on there. Compete as well. Another old project. It's decent. Will potentially do about 10x, I think. No more than that. But the game is not too bad. Lit Labs is a decent project. I think you can do about 30x. They're doing a lot of things with Alexa. Alexa is a very big company. And with these projects, like Lit Labs specifically, they're going to, every single game that launches on Alexa, they will be using the Lit Lab tokens within their game. So, in order to play these games, you have to stake Lit Lab tokens. And for that reason, Alexa is a very big company. And for that reason, I think Lit Labs can do well. Now, they've also burned 10% of the supply, and they will be on the Solana chain very soon. I think it's the 4th of July. So for that reason, Lit Labs will recover, and I think it will still do well. Magic, not worth the investment. Miria, I think, is a better investment than GFAL. The dilution isn't too bad. It's only like a 1x dilution, well, 2x dilution if you count the thingy. Miria is not a bad investment. Maybe like a 10 to 15x from this point on. It has come down significantly, just like most gaming projects. Now, Naka is one of the best projects in terms of, gaming. It has been holding up really well compared to the rest of the market. And it is, they did get a partnership with Microsoft recently. And, that is very bullish in itself. There's not many gaming projects that can get partnerships with Microsoft. So I think Nakamoto can still do about 30x from this point on. Freeball, not too bad. It's a good project. It has come down significantly as the node owners are constantly dumping the tokens. But right now, from this point on, it will potentially do about 20x, maybe 30x, but I think 20x is more realistic. Miria and Miria and Freeball are backed by Alex Becker. But Alex Becker cannot push every single project. These Neo Tokyos, I think over like 20, 30 different gaming projects hold them now. He can't push every single one of them. I think Lit Labs were talking about getting Alex Becker as an ambassador as well. So for that reason, these 3 projects will perform. But, Alex Becker can't do it all by himself. He can't push every single gaming project. PlayZap, same thing. Would I invest into it? I probably wouldn't, because I think OTK is a much better investment. So out of them two, they're very similar. I would pick OTK over this. Synverse, I think it can still perform. Is micro cap, maybe like a 10 to 15x, because it's different to most other gaming projects. It's like a GTA type of vibe. For that reason, I think it can still perform. Even though I don't personally, I wouldn't invest into it. But if you do hold it, I think it can still perform because it's unique in the gaming sector. There's not many GTA type of games. So for that reason, I think it can perform. This project is not really worth it, the Potion project. Spooky Z, that's a scam. I wouldn't buy that. I don't know what that is. I don't think that's a gaming project. UFO, same thing, not worth the investment. This is Ultra is not worth the investment. This whole concept of metaverse is not worth, it's too early. If the average person cannot afford a VR headset, then the narrative is not going to do well. We already had metaverse last bull run. We're not going to have it again. So I don't think it's worth the investment. I don't even know if this is gaming, but, Veracity is not a good coin. Vulcan Forge, very old. Maybe like a 5 to 6x, under a 10x, I think. But I don't think you can do a 10x though. Wagme Game, same thing. I wouldn't invest into it. It's not really worth the investment. Mavia is not too bad. I think you can pull about, a 10 to 15x. It is going to come down a bit more though, as the early investors are still up. So for that reason, right now is not worth the investment. I would potentially wait a little bit longer before investing. Now, Neon Heroes? This is actually a decent project. It's being shielded by the Alex Beckers and some of the other gaming big YouTubers. And the vesting schedule for this is really good. Most of the token is locked up till next year. This is a decent project. I can see this performing about a 10 to 15x in the bull run. Now, Metacade as well, decent project. Vesting is quite harsh at the moment, but it will get better by the time the gaming runs. And I think you can still do a 10 to 15x. Aether Game's not worth the investment. It's like a card game. No one's really going to play a card game realistically. All games, it is decent. It's a good project. However, the person that rugged Fabwout is behind this project. So that is a little bit of a concern. Now, in terms of the game itself, it is quite decent. The quality is quite good. But as an investment, the vesting schedule for this is really harsh. That's why you're seeing this dump very bad. I think it's almost seed prices, and I think it will go below seed prices. So for that reason, I would potentially trade this in a bull run, but I wouldn't buy it right now. I think it still has some more legs to go down. But, I think if you trade this, during a gaming run, I think it will perform because it is low cap. The game is quite decent. They got decent partnerships. But yeah, I wouldn't. I could see this doing about maybe like a 30x. I think possible. I don't really hold it, but it is a decent gaming project though. It's not too bad. Now Bold is quite decent because if you look at Bold, is a micro cap gaming project. Is well below seed prices, and if you look at the partnerships behind this project, right? They got the likes of Ronin, Sky Mavis, YGG. And then you got the likes of Disney. This is the Axie Infinity team. So the people behind this project is really big. Now, if you look at the, in terms of narratives, it covers sports narrative, entertainment narrative, and the gaming narrative. They have like arcade style games. The website looks really good. It does have all the buzzwords for a pump. And I think, with the micro cap and the vesting schedule, the market cap and the vesting schedule, I think this could potentially pull a 50x. Because it is low cap, it is high risk. These are high risk, high rewards. If you want more safe gaming projects, I would go for. Actually, let's get that off the list. I would say our game's not worth the investment. Actually, Arcade, same thing, very similar to OTK, and PlayZap. Would I say is worth the investment? No, because the vesting schedule for this is quite harsh. This is a very good. Is a Vanry, decent gaming project. Maybe can do like a 10x. Crown, not worth the investment. ICNX is not too bad. It is a micro cap. The only thing that concerns me about this project is that 60% of the supply is untracked on the crypto rank. So we don't know the actual vesting for this specifically. And those 60% is in wallets with no vesting schedules. So you kind of have to take the words of the team. They said they're not going to dump it. So you kind of have to take those words. But I wouldn't trust a project holding 60% of the supply in like 3-4 different wallets. So for that reason, I don't think it's worth the investment. But it is a decent project. If you do hold it, if I was to put it anywhere, I think it has the potential to do a 30x. But I wouldn't really hold it though. Alexa, very good gaming project, has launched. The vesting is quite harsh currently, but would I invest into it? I would at some point, maybe like towards the end of the year. You have to wait a couple of months for this to get below idle price, and then it would be worth the investment. And this could potentially do about, a 30x. It is a massive Web2 studio that's coming into Web3. Porto, 10x, high market cap, but very good project. Cap Games, not worth the investment. Shrapnel, very good game, but it's not worth the investment. I don't think it's going to give much gains but it would potentially do like a 10x. The game quality is quite high. Outro not worth from current point. If you hold it from earlier, maybe like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, if you got it below like 1 cent maybe, it would potentially be worth. It could potentially do like another 10x, but from this point on, it's not worth the investment. Cedus is a good project. I think it could potentially do like a 10 to 15x. It is a very good project. Notcoin not worth. Creo, targets the Asia market. I think it will perform potentially like another 10 to 15x from this point on. Same thing with this project. This is like a GPU gaming project you can mine, and I think it will perform. GPU is a very hot narrative. Domi is quite good. Shielded by Alex Becker. Decent, open world MMORPG game type of game. It is not bad. I think it'll probably do like a 10 to 15x from this point on. Carrot will potentially do anywhere between a 30 to a 50x. I think a 30x is more realistic due to the market cap, but it is being shielded by everyone. They have backers like Disney, Warner Brothers, and they have, the game itself looks really good. If you look at the game, it is a very good game, a very high quality game. And for that reason, I think Carrot can perform really well this cycle. There is a lot of influencers shit in this, like Alex Becker and some of the other big influencers. And as a project, it is really good, I think. This is another good project. Maybe do like a 5 to 6x. It's very high market cap. This is entirely my opinion. You could hold any of these tokens, and you could say, if you make a good case, like, oh, these can perform, this one can perform, this one can perform. I would agree with you, but for me, I don't think none of these are worth the investment. Our games, I would say, isn't too bad, but I just wouldn't invest into it. If I had to choose between this and this, they're very similar concepts. I would choose ICNX just because it has the esports aspect, whereas our game does not. So yeah, that is the end of the video, guys. If you would like to join, a private community, the link is in the description. I do have the best private community in the crypto space. We'll be trading memes. We don't just sit utility tokens and wait for them to dump into oblivion. We trade memes, and invest them back into our long-term holds.